Right, welcome back to another video on the channel. Leeds United fans, talk to me in the comment section below. I'm sure each and every one of you is absolutely raging with that performance and with that result more than anything, to be fair. Losing 5-1 at home to relegation strugglers themselves in Crystal Palace. And yeah, I think it was pretty much the epitome of a game of two halves in terms of the fact I was really impressed with Leeds in the first half. I thought Leeds were going to go on and, hit them for 2 or 3 and win comfortably enough, considering the fact that I think Crystal Palace just really couldn't live with the energy of Leeds in the first half. And I think Leeds really executed Javi Gracia's style of play absolutely brilliantly in the first half in terms of in possession, having players very much close to each other to obviously be able to link up, play better, and yeah, almost overloading one side of the pitch at a time. And I think they did that absolutely brilliantly and played around Crystal Palace like there was no tomorrow. There was a few very good saves from Sam Johnston that he had to make in the first half that almost kept Crystal Palace in the game, really. And then in the second half it completely changed, or even you could say changed, with that Mark Gahey goal from that set piece right in the brink of half time, and yet just completely and utterly changed the complexion of the game overall. Palace came out in the second half, absolutely wiped the floor with Leeds, and yet just attacked so efficiently. And one word I would say to describe Crystal Palace's second half in opposition of Leeds' first half was clinical. I think Crystal Palace were really clinical, an absolute masterclass from players like Michael Olise, Ebere Eze, even Jordan Ayew, who I thought was absolutely brilliant and obviously got himself 2 goals. And yet just really worrying signs for Leeds, to be honest. And I think it's a result that I don't think 5-1 necessarily was a fair reflection of the game overall from Leeds' perspective, but obviously that's the way it went, and they will be massively disappointed at the sheer capitulation and how much they collapsed. And yeah, I mean, you've got to give props to Crystal Palace. I mean, 0.89 expected goals for Leeds to 3.03 for Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace themselves had 52% of the ball, 16 shots to 11, and here's the big one, 5 big chances created to 1 for Leeds United overall. And yeah, with 5 big chances created, scored 5 goals, and yeah, like I said, clinical from Crystal Palace and really deserved it. They move up now to 12th in the league table on 33 points, and I think are probably, in my opinion, maybe one more win off fully sealing their survival this season. I think they should be safe anyway because they do have quite a nice run in. And yeah, massive for Crystal Palace under Roy Hodgson, getting 2 wins now on the bounce against fellow relegation contenders in Leicester City last weekend and now Leeds away from home. And yeah, they'll really be feeling confident now between now and the end of the season, getting over that absolutely barren run of form that cost Patrick Vieira his job between the World Cup and now. And yeah, I think Roy Hodgson, in fairness, he's really gotten a tune out of this Crystal Palace team absolutely instantly, and I think he's proved a lot of people wrong, myself included, because I'll be the first to admit, when I saw him take over from Patrick Vieira, I thought the decision to sack Patrick Vieira to then replace Vieira with the manager that they got Vieira in to replace in the first place, I thought was quite strange, especially given Roy Hodgson's age and the fact they took him out of retirement and kind of almost wanted to go away from that, negative conservative brand of football. But it's really worked, and I think Roy Hodgson, from a personal perspective more than likely, has gotten the confidence and the energy almost back into these Palace players who obviously we know have quality. And I think it's just about getting the confidence back in this team and able to get them to show what they're capable of, which I definitely think Roy Hodgson has done absolutely brilliantly since he stepped in the door again at Palace. But as for Leeds, like I said, I mean, just really worrying signs for them. I think the performance in the first half, you know what, I was actually expecting to do this video talking about Leeds and actually bigging them up, because the energy they showed in the first half, I thought Weston McKennie was probably their best player overall, and he's just got so much tenacity, so much bite, and so much desire to win duels, which, is exactly what Leeds want in this energetic style of play that they want to play under Javi Gracia ideally. And obviously it seemed like set pieces were the nature of the game today, because I think, what was it, 2 or 3 of the goals came from set pieces. Patrick Bamford, a really good header from him. Completely out of nothing, Mark Gahey gets himself a goal from a set piece. The third goal then is a cross in from Olise, a very good ball, and an absolutely quality header from Jordan Ayew into the corner, which completely changed the game. And then I think once Crystal Palace went 2-1 up, Leeds kind of had to go for it a little bit more. Then obviously Crystal Palace caught them on the break, got a third goal, Leeds had to go for it even more. And I think that's one of the main reasons why this scoreline was so outstanding towards Crystal Palace's favour, is because Leeds, as the goals kept going in for Crystal Palace, they had to commit more men forward, and that gave obviously Crystal Palace more space on the break, with players who are absolutely so effective on the break in direct positions like Eze and like Olise, for example. And that's perfectly shown especially in the third goal, where Olise did make that run forward, played the weighted pass through to Eze, and yeah, game over, done and dusted by that point. The fourth goal then, again a direct counter-attack as a result of Leeds losing the ball high up the pitch, having to commit men forward. Edouard getting his goal then from that direct attack, and yeah, ending a goal drought of his own. And then the fifth goal, I think, is just one of those goals. It's horrendous defending, but I think it's just confusion from Leeds at what happened in the game previously to that in the second half especially. And Jordan Ayew, it's a good finish from him, and yeah, it looks really bad from a fan's perspective, because it's just like he essentially was able to walk the ball into the net, having all the space in the world behind the back four, which which, yeah, like I said, the fans won't like to see, but it's just one of those things that happens, unfortunately. But yeah, focusing on Crystal Palace, because obviously I'm sure Leeds fans even themselves will want me talking more about Crystal Palace and this performance rather than Leeds' performance overall, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. In terms of the individual performances, Michael Olise, obviously man of the match, absolutely no doubt, got himself 3 assists, which is absolutely insane, and yet just an absolutely complete performance from Michael Olise, especially in that second half, because he was quite invisible in the first half overall, as was pretty much every attacking player for Crystal Palace given the way the game was going. But in the second half, it just goes to show, when you get Michael Olise chances on the ball and when he's able to be direct and able to create with that wand of a left foot he has, he's such an efficient crosser of the ball, and yet he showed that in the second half. He was absolutely brilliant. His weight of pass was brilliant, his dribbling ability was brilliant, he took on his man and bet his man more often than not, and yeah, was just absolutely brilliant. And one thing I like about Olise as well is he will do the dirty work off the ball, and he does like to press and yeah, hound for the ball back in the final third. So Michael Olise is a player I really love. In fact, I have a Crystal Palace jersey myself with his name on the back of it for that reason, and yeah, I think he's an absolutely brilliant player and definitely one for the future, being so young as well. Ebere Eze, I think it was an absolute masterstroke, and that's one of the main reasons why I think that Roy Hodgson has had this instant bounce of success as coming back for Crystal Palace, because it was kind of weird how Eze was left out of the team all of a sudden from Patrick Vieira in his last few games especially. I think Eze is a player that just has to be in this team, especially if you're a team like Crystal Palace who wants to play a direct style of football. His ability to carry the ball forward and dribble with the ball is absolutely unbelievable. It's one of the best in the Premier League in my opinion for midfielders, and yeah, just an elegant footballer in that manner, and yeah, is creative as well. Got his goal today, and yeah, just an all-round very good performance from him. Jordan Ayew as well, I want to give him some praises because he's one that I don't think actually gets enough praises at all, in fairness. I know he's not the most stylish of footballers overall, so to speak, but you can't fault his work ethic and his ability and his importance off the ball for this Crystal Palace team, in the energy he offers, his pressing ability, and he linked up well in the front three for Crystal Palace today, got himself 2 goals, and yep, like I said, it was that second goal that really changed the complexion of the game for Crystal Palace and put them beyond Leeds in terms of, you know, going on and scoring 3 more goals after it with an absolutely brilliant header. And yeah, like I said, I want to give a shout out to Sam Johnstone as well, because he made a few very good saves in the first half, having, you know, played, what is it, his first game of the season or something, because obviously Guaita is injured, and yeah, I think Johnstone was important to the win today given those saves he made in the first half, and we've seen from his time at West Brom, he's an absolutely quality shot stopper, and yeah, I think could be the heir apparent, the natural heir apparent to Vicente Guaita in this Crystal Palace team if he's given a run of games in this team, and I think today was, you know, proper evidence of that. I thought Anderson was really good at centre back as well, his usual composed self on the ball, his range of passing is absolutely top class for a centre back, and his defensive ability and ability to, you know, read the game I thought was absolutely brilliant today. So yeah, Crystal Palace overall a really strong performance from them, particularly in the second half, like I said, where they absolutely destroyed Leeds to bits, and they'll be happy now because they still, even having played 2 relegation candidates in Leicester and Leeds in their last 2 games, their next 2 games are also against relegation candidates. They go away to Southampton next weekend, and then they play Everton at home, and yeah, this relegation battle is well and truly in their hands now, and like I said, I think one more win will do it for them. You'd have to believe they'll get at least, you know, 3 points between now and the end of the season with the run-in they have. So yeah, Crystal Palace, they can be happy with themselves now. Their fans can relax just a little bit, especially after the, you know, really poor second half of the season they've had before that Leicester game, obviously. And yet this relegation battle is going to go absolutely to the wire, and to be honest, my opinion on who is going to go down this season changes every single week and every single game that goes by in the Premier League, because to be honest, yesterday I was saying Southampton, Leicester and Forest, they're the current bottom 3. I think that'll be the bottom 3 that goes down, because I think Everton will have too much with Sean Dyche in charge. I think he'll be able to mastermind an escape. I think Bournemouth will stay up. I've said it for a few weeks now, everyone's written off Bournemouth, but I said don't write them off because Gary O'Neill is doing a really underrated job there. They're so difficult to play against, and they have that underdog mentality in them because obviously everyone's written them off. I think Wolves will probably just about be safe now, especially after that win against my club Chelsea yesterday. West Ham got themselves a massive away win against Fulham yesterday, which will massively help their chances. Leeds are a weird one because I don't really trust Leeds, I'm not going to lie, but they seem to have, you know, grinded out points whenever they've needed to in the last few games, and I think for that reason, I think it's between Leeds and Leicester. I think Southampton are certainties, even though I think they will cause some teams problems in the last few games. I think Nottingham Forest will probably go down. They're on an absolutely horrendous run of form right now under Steve Cooper. I think the last one is between Leeds and Leicester, and I think it's just whether or not Jesse Marsch can get a tune and the energy out of this Leicester team in the last 8 games of the season. And yeah, it's going to be one hell of a fucking relegation battle, that's for absolute certain. But yeah, leave in the comment section below your unbiased opinions on who you think is going to get relegated from the Premier League this season. There's still 8 or 9 teams to choose from, to be fair, so it's going to be an absolutely, you know, mad relegation battle between now and the end of the season, obviously. And yeah, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, would be absolutely hugely appreciated as per usual, and subscribe to the channel. Do it right now, hit that big fat juicy succulent subscribe button, because we're closing in now on 2,000 subscribers. We might actually have hit it by the time this video goes live, so yeah, be an absolute legend and help me get there over the line as soon as possible. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video, and yeah, chat to you later.